Hi and welcome to the Warhammer Lady. So I thought I'd make a video log of what's going to happen this weekend, and you're right, it's campaign time. I know I was going to make this earlier to tell you about the campaign, but we've been fairly unsure if we were going to make it or not, because first it was only 3 of us that could make it, and we thought that it would be more fun if we were, well, at least almost all of us. We're a total of 6 players. And today I've learned that most of us could make it either on Saturday or Sunday. So my entire weekend is going to consist of campaign gaming, and I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this campaign for like 2 months now. It's way overdue, but finally. And I'm gonna say I'm excited about like 6 more times this video, so you're aware. This is the campaign, Crusade of Fire. And I'm not going to tell you about all of the rules, because there are certain scenarios. For example, you can pitch your warlords against each other, and you can have specific rules for flyers and so forth. But explaining all of the rules in one video would be kind of tedious, and it's not going to be happening for a couple of months, because this is a 6-month-long campaign. So when the specific rules come into play, I will make specific videos to tell you about them. I'll most likely make battle reports where we pitch our warlords against each other and so on. Also, I might not make so many battle reports the first month regarding just the campaign, because 4 of the armies are mine. I've only painted my Chaos Demon army, and you know, watching unpainted models, it's kind of boring. So perhaps not the first month. I'm going to be painting as much as I possibly can, but I can't guarantee anything. Anyway, let's get to it. So this campaign takes place in the Corvus subsector. It's a total of 10 planets, and it takes place in the 40k millennium, but a millennium ago. And this is a subsector far away from the Imperium. It's an Imperium subsector, so it's rich and prosperous and a great many people live there. And then there's a cult called the Cult of Amber. And they're really pissed off with the Imperium because they think the Imperium is so slow, they never change anything, and they just wanna go forth and be awesome, more or less. And then Nurgle, the Lord of Decay, he looks down on this subsector and thinks, nice, I want this. He wants to sacrifice the entire subsector to the warp just because he can, more or less. He thinks it's a nice little remote place to do it. So he decides he's going to infiltrate the cult, and he does. And whilst doing so, he wraps the entire subsector in a warp storm called the Crow's Eye. And the people within the subsector, they have no idea what's going on. They don't notice. And since it's so long ago, sorry, the communications with the Imperium, they're not so great because they don't have the technique for it just yet. So even though they're shut off from the entire system, because outside you can't even see the subsector anymore, nobody notices, because even though the Imperium doesn't keep in touch, it's just like an ordinary glitch. So nobody knows. So Nurgle infiltrates the cult, but he doesn't like change. He just wants the cult to be all about status quo. So over generation, he changes the cult. And they have no idea that their Lord of Amber is a chaos god. They think he's awesome and he's going to step down and he's going to save the entire Corvus subsector system from being changed. So after a couple of generations, a really important guy called Magister Thrax comes down. Well, he's born rather. And he has a great lot of influence over the entire subsector. So Nurgle thinks that, yeah, this is the guy. He's going to be part of my cult. And so he makes him part of the cult. And Thrax sees that in the near future, the planets of this subsector are going to align. And when they do, they'll be able to get the Lord of Amber down to help them. And he will be brilliant and awesome. And this happens. And Nurgle steps down. And when he does, of course, he starts spraying decay all over the place, because he doesn't want it to be status quo. He wants it to die and decay. He wants to sacrifice the entire thing. And of course, this can't go unnoticed. So Sench steps down as well. And he says, no, you can't do this. I want this for myself. And he twists the warps a bit so that the planets no longer align and the entire ritual is just broken. So Nurgle is forced to retreat, and he takes with him Thrax because he wants him to, he's like the key to the entire ritual. And he swears that he'll come back thousands of years later to just finish off what he started. And Change, well, Lord of Change, he's really happy, so he stays behind and he unleashes demons and chaos, and after a while also Chaos Space Marines just rain havoc. So a millennia later, the Crow's Eye, because this is a really strong warp storm, so nobody can see through it except for really powerful psychers. And while it's looking through it, they can see this big eye looking back at them. So that's why it's called the Crow's Eye. And after a millennia, it blinks. So the first 4 planets of the sub-sea sector, sorry, God, English, is visible. So the Imperium decides that now we will take it back because it's visible again. So they go on a crusade called the Crusade of Light. But when they get there, they realize the entire section is taken over by demons and Chaos Space Marines, so the crusade changed its name from Crusade of Light to Crusade of Fire. Fitting, isn't it? And if you play Imperial, you are part of this faction called the Crusade of Fire, because the entire campaign is made up of 3 different factions. And as I said, they want to take back the planetary system. Well, yes, planetary empires. Anyways, if you play Chaos, you're part of the, I'm gonna not remember the names here, I'm sorry. Just a second. So many pages. There we go. The Servants of Ruin, yeah. And they've fought in this section for a millennia. And now, the Demon Prince of Nurgle says that it's time. We shall now sacrifice the entire system. Of course this happens just as soon as the Imperium enters. Duh. And there's also a 3rd faction. Because if there's a system like this, it's not going to go unnoticed by raiders. So of course there's raiders. And it's really dark Eldar. And if you're part of their faction, it's called the Prophets of War. But it also includes all of the other players or armies that are not part of the Chaos or the Imperium factions. I think that was it, lore-wise. The campaign itself, it's consistent of 3 phases, and in the first phase, the first 4 planets are visible. And then after that, the Crow Eye blinks again, so the other 5 planets are visible, and at the end, the entire warp storm just disappears, and this final planet where Tsenj and Nurgle have their breakdown or their tiny fights, it's called Unctious. And this is the last planet, and I'm guessing this is where the entire just shit will hit the fan, more or less. I'm not sure, I haven't gone through the entire book yet, because it's basically based on having a game master. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be a game master or not, and if I'm not, I don't want to know the entire storyline before it happens. But anyways, so it's divided into 3 phases, and each phase is divided into 2 turns, and basically it's just based on as many battles as possible. For each turn you get 5 flags each, so ordinary planetary empires. And at the end of each phase you have a ginormous battle where all of your foes can enter and take place, if they wish to. So you can be 2 players up to 7 players, as we are. We decided to make this campaign 6 months, so each turn is a month. That's our basic planning anyway. And we're 7 players. It's me, Chaos Demons, and some Chaos Space Marines, so I can ally with. Woo! And for the Imperium, it's the Dark Angels, the Space Wolves, and the Imperial Guard. And for ordinary Xenos weirdo breeds, it's the Necrons and Tyranids. Now, they don't ally very well, but since it would be boring if only Chaos and Imperial players could ally with each other, we're gonna make them be able to ally anyway. So yeah, that's our basic setup of the campaign, and I'm really looking forward to this. Again, super excited. I hope you stay tuned for my, well, campaign tales, more or less, and, well, just stay tuned nevertheless. And I wish you have a really great weekend, and if I don't see you this weekend, I'll see you at the beginning of the next week. So, bye!